doing what I have to do today. Do I really want to be here to talk around the Rangers today? I don't really think so, but we're doing it anyway. Are you good? What happened? Can you hear?
Bro, look at this.
Just pull it.
Nah,
What a start to the show. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the All Day Everyday Show with All Day AJ and Andy Ruffin. We do have a banger show for you today. If you are watching or listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube, do us a big favor. Drop a like, a comment, and do not forget to hit that subscribe button on YouTube. For our listeners on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, helps us a long way if you give us those ratings on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We do have a banger show today. Plenty of stuff to get into with the NHL playoffs. The Rangers losing somehow. The Seattle Kraken upsetting the defending champs. The Boston Bruins, best NHL single season record, losing in Game 7 at home against the Panthers. Obviously, the NFL draft was last week. Crazy things to get into there. Quick notes with it, at least, is do we call them the Philadelphia Bulldogs or do we call them the Philadelphia Eagles? We'll get into that a little bit later. The MLB is well underway, and the Yankees fucking suck. Get into that. Aaron Boone, what's going on? Are you still going to be there? The Phillies. Bryce Harper's on his way back.
Fucking hell.
Bryce Harper's on his way back. And then, of course, the NBA playoffs. Hot start from James Harden in Game 1 without Joel Embiid. And Steph Curry and the Warriors do just that in Game 7. I cannot believe you if you decided to bet the Kings in Game 7. Because what did this man sitting next to me say? Steph Curry with fuel? Come on now. Pay attention.
You would have made money in the first two games you paid attention. You would have made the money in the last two games you paid attention.
Pay attention. What a big show.
First shout out, Tony Finau.
There you go.
Bogey free 66 to win.
There you go.
It was the 6th PGA Tour event he won. Shout out Tony Finau. What else was on my mind? I had the second thing that was on my mind. Oh, Alex goddamn Jenkins hit a plus 65, plus 650 parlay, baby. Clap it up again. Clap it up again. I was like, what the fuck? I want to shout out too. Yes, sir. 100 to win. What was it? 700?
Yeah, 100, 650.
Both the Game 7 dogs you
Both
took?
Game 7 dogs.
Yes,
Panthers in Boston and then
yes,
Seattle in Avalanche. We actually live on TikTok. Spoke to Chetty that night. Freezer Tarp. Shout out. That was crazy. I mean, I needed a little bit of that. It's not like I've been down. It's just like I've been like betting smaller units.
We could all use a plus 700 cash.
Yeah, and like I just wanted I just wanted a hit there. And then obviously, having 3 Game 7s in 2 days was just electric for the sport and the playoffs. But for the Bruins' sake, I mean, we have to call this a failure of a season. And what did we say when we spoke about the Bruins last week and the weeks prior? They walk the walk, but they're going to have to talk the talk. And any team that you think about in recent history, let's go to the Warriors 73-9 season, when you have that much pressure, you are lying to yourself if you sat there and didn't think that this team had that pressure.
Well, even
they felt it.
When we were watching the game, they put up the graphic. Was it the last 9 or 10 Presidents Trophy winners? Didn't win Stanley Cup or whatever it was. Or
right.
What was the last team to win the Stanley Cup that won the President's Trophy? Was it the Blackhawks, I believe? Like 2012, 2013 season?
Right.
So like, I mean, my theory, people are going to hate who actually watch hockey, but my puck on ice theory is just, but like, I don't know. I personally watched the Boston Bruins before just choked with the Flyers. Like my only real memory watching Boston Bruins hockey a lot is them choking leads. Yeah. Went down 2-0 in the Game 7, but I don't know. Like, how does that shit happen in hockey so consistently? Because when you watch these teams in the regular season, they literally look unbeatable. Like they're getting minus 300s versus like teams that are top in the conference, winning 4-1. Like, all right, like I'll tune into this Boston Bruins game. Like they're up 3-1 already, first period. Like, and in the first playoff series, you just look like shit. Like, how does this happen time and time? Is it game playing? Do you put too much on these guys? Like, first of all, do these teams go for the President's Cup as like harder than they should? Like, when they like after the season's over, like when it comes to hockey, you'll hear about all the goddamn injuries when the season's over. So are these guys playing through a shit ton of injuries to be the points leader of the season, then to lose round 1 or round 2? Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I actually don't know. Like,
yeah, well, we remember back in recent history, that was the Tampa Bay Lightning years back, and they got swept by Columbus in the first round. Now, for the Bruins' sake, I mean, they were up 3-1 in the series. So you have to give an immense amount of credit to the Panthers being down 3-1 to, again, a Bruins team that set records this season. So, I mean, if you're the Bruins, like, this is a fucking failure. And I'm going to say it again.
Yeah, not that Giannis shit.
You can't say that, like, these players didn't feel that pressure. It, like, you guys were up 3-2, and then with a minute to go in the game, you let up, and, you know, Panthers had their net pulled, so they got 6 guys, 6-on-5, and with a minute to go, they tie the game, and then they lose in overtime. And it was a really tough goal to let go in there to lose in overtime. But the Bruins, I mean, we got top teams that are out now. And this was a road, as we, you know, kind of switch over to the Rangers, this was a road for the Rangers to be successful. Tampa's gone. The Avalanche are gone in the West. The Bruins are gone in the East. And then they go up 2-0 in a fucking series at the Prudential Center and have 2 games up 2 at MSG, and they lose game 3 and they lose game 4. We talk about the adjustment that the Devils made in game 3 and game 4, the pressure at the blue line, and then all the Rangers have to do was they just had to get 1 at home. Devils look better. They put in Akira Schmid, the 22-year-old.
Schmid was hooping. I don't know shit.
I gotta give him credit.
I don't know shit fuck about hockey, but that save he had, it was 2-zip on the, who was it? Was a slap shot?
And it was a glove save.
Perfect slap shot.
Yeah.
How the fuck did he see it or scoop that?
That's what I said. I watched. I said, how did he see that?
Like he did hoop. But one thing I will say, I don't know shit fuck about hockey. But whenever I watch and the Rangers lose, especially the one time I was here when I watched it with y'all, and then Game 7 and other games y'all lost, like they just look tremendously offensively challenged when they get past the blue line. They can't keep the ball. They can't keep the ball. Look at me. Can't keep the puck in the Devils zone. Is that more the Devils or is that more the Rangers being dog shit on offense?
That's more the Devils, in my opinion. They just pressed them better. They outskated them. They clearly wanted it more. I mean, obviously I said the Bruins was a failure, but the Rangers, this is a fucking failure. What was the point of getting Patrick Kane? What was the point of getting Vladimir Tarasenko? And again, back to this, like, you're lying to yourself bullshit that I've been saying so far. You are lying to yourself if you're a Rangers fan and you didn't think that this was cup or bust. It entirely was. And you can't say that it wasn't. Patrick Kane's probably gone. Your top 6 guys are able to score 10 goals, outscore the Devils 10-2 in games 1 and 2, and then go silent. Artemi Panarin had 0 goals and 2 assists in 7 games. Alexi Lafreniere, the number one pick in the draft, had 0 points and 0 assists, 0 goals, 0 across the fucking board for 7 games.
He was getting cardio in. That was it.
That's it. You got 4th liners that are doing more work than lines 1 and 2. What the fuck? And for Igor Shesterkin, I cannot imagine what he is feeling. What else am I supposed to do? I have to bail you motherfuckers out. Time in and time out again. I don't get it. I don't get it. You have Adam Fox last night in the press conference saying, yeah, I feel bad for Igor. I feel like we kind of let him down. Kind of. There's no goal support. You guys had 3 power plays in the first period alone. They were getting gifted tripping calls. Gifted. And you got nothing.
Goal support. Like I said, I don't know shit fuck about hockey, but I'm watching Igor constantly get 3-on-2s, 2-on-1s, making great save after great save. Literally, damn near like pulling his groin when they did. Devils made it 3-0. Damn near pulling his groin to try to get there to save it. Like anything I saw, he was doing everything, making incredible save after incredible save. And like the Game 7, I'm pretty sure at a point in the third period, his shots were like 21-21. But the shot quality, from the Devils, the quality shots they were getting compared to the Rangers was insane. I'm sorry, brother. I was actually happy. One of the first times I was really happy for New York team doing their thing. I don't mind the Rangers. Maybe because I'm not into the Flyers as much, but
I mean, just what a waste.
Maybe I'll hate them soon. We'll see.
What a waste, an absolute waste of a quote unquote star-studded lineup. And everyone's bitching,
My guy Panarin, though, 2 assists the whole series
and no goals, nothing. He's the this year. Second highest paid player in the league, over $11.5 million this season, and absolutely great. Not taking anything away. He had a great regular season, and it just is taken away and outweighed by a disgusting performance in the playoffs in the first round. Again, the team was up 2-0. We were talking about a possible sweep.
I mean, yeah, it was looking bad.
Devils literally just made the correct adjustments. They obviously put in Schmid, but
shout out 21-year-old Jack Hughes too. I mean, damn.
Facts.
Going down 2-0.
I mean, for Schmid's sake, he didn't look that. He looked good, but the Rangers weren't testing him. He gets tested in Game 6 at MSG and lets up 5. And I mean, that's where I was like, look, finally, see what happens when you get tested? You're mid. And then he just proved me completely wrong. And he played out of his mind in game 7, and that's what they needed. But for the Rangers, they looked slow, flat-footed, soft, and they got out
What did you think about that fucking hit? Oh my God, how did I almost forget about that? That is what I watch hockey for, because I hate, can we first of all, okay, I have one thing I want the NHL to actually revise when it comes to playoffs. Can we just limit the penalties for fighting? Because, they don't be trying to mix.
Right, because it's 5 minutes.
Keandre Miller was going, who was he going to fight? Oh my God.
It was after Igor got knocked on his ass.
Yes, on his ass.
Which was a fucking penalty, by the way.
If this is a regular season game, Keandre's just giving him 5 right there. I'm like, just because he's not trying to take the penalty, can we just...
And then he still got a roughing penalty for 2 minutes.
He probably should have, but you know what I'm saying? I don't know shit fuck, but I think he probably should have, but I just wish they let the guys fight a little bit more, but that hit was insane.
The captain was trying to get the team back in it.
The thing about hockey that is actually dope about hockey, the announcers are I think that's a clean one. He was going center of the body. He was, but so you can peep sometimes in other sports that shall not be named. They be trying to get guys kicked out the game and he hit. I'm like, I like that hockey coach. They're like, nah, that's a clean one. Let that one go. I was like, hockey,
because they said
that's a point for the good guys.
They kept it. He kept his elbow tucked in, so there was no movement of the elbow to get elbowing.
Is he okay?
Yeah, I mean they shook hands. They actually hugged. At the end of the game because they're going down the handshake line because they lost.
I didn't think Buddy was gonna move, bro.
I know. I thought he was gonna have to get a card.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But he actually went by Trouba, and there's a video, and they shook hands and they hugged each other, and it was kind of just the tweet that I saw of this video was this is why we love. Can
we clap it up for hockey? Yeah, I want to say
that's part of the reason why we like it. But it was a clean hit. It was just look, you're coming into the offensive zone, not against the boards or anything, just an open ice, and your head's just looking down. I mean, this is what they say when you're learning hockey as a kid. When you're skating in open ice, you got to keep your head up. And Trouba just came in with a lot of steam, and it ended up being a lot of shoulder to the head, which is why in other sports that's called. But for hockey, it's not like he was aiming upwards. The elbow didn't flare outside for either an elbowing or a charging penalty. But Trouba, the captain of the Rangers, tried to get him back in it, and clearly that didn't work. Igor Shesterkin, a fantastic season, career high in wins this year. Sorry, your top 6 did not want to fucking show up in the playoffs besides game 1 and 2. And I guess, this is why I tweeted last night on my personal account. I said, this is fucking why sports suck sometimes. This fucking team, I said it earlier. And earlier this year, I said, after the Kane trade, no team's going to beat this team in a 7-game series. And I guess this is why there's 7 games, because it's not only games 1 and 2. Enough about them. Can't wait to talk about these offensive moves and these off-season moves, because Kane's going to fucking go and this team's fucking in shambles. All right, I'm done. Sorry. Over to the NFL draft. We knew what was going to happen with some of these top 3, top 5 picks, but we did not think Mr. Will Levis was going to drop to the second round. How about that? But I do not want to start there. Let's start with the Philadelphia Bulldogs. What do you think about your team's draft?
Dog mentality. That's all I'm going to say. First of all, I don't Howie Roseman. I don't know how it could get more perfect for a guy the past couple of years. It's actually insane. From the Jalen Hurts pick that everyone, including myself, thought he was insane for. But even before that, pre-Carson Wentz era, I don't know if you remember, 2014, 2015, Sam Bradford times, that kind of times, people weren't really loving Howie Roseman as much as you would think. Carson Wentz era comes through, get the chip, people see the things he's done, we start seeing the Howie vision, and now Howie can do no wrong in the city of Philadelphia. Literally in the minds of us, to the minds of other teams with the trades he's been able to pull off. I mean, he's getting settlements with Jonathan Gann in Arizona. Howie can just do no wrong right now. That's my guy. But, I mean, Jalen Carter, Owen Smith, able to finesse Keely Ringo. And then to top it off, you get DeAndre Swift on his contract year. He has something to prove back at the crib. Can he do anything wrong? Give me Tyler Steen. Give me good O-line depth. We're going to put him at guard, play tackle at Vanderbilt, and play tackle at Alabama. Perfectly fine with me. Going to be an athletic-ass tackle. Only reason he's not playing tackle in the league is because he has 32.5-inch arms, which is crazy, because they want tackles to have 34-inch arms, which is that's why guys lose jobs, which is fucking crazy. Then we got the safety from Illinois, which is huge because, I mean, Secondaries doesn't have a lot of depth. Only thing I've been complaining about with the defense so far and my depth chart in general is that we are like a couple injuries away. That's why guys like Steen is huge because like if Lane Johnson doesn't play through injury last year, we probably don't make the goddamn Super Bowl. So having guys like that, they're athletic, that maybe have played tackle before, but can be slide at guard, which is gigantic and obviously more protection in the future for Jalen Hurts. But we just haven't been missing. Like, what am I supposed to say? Like, we just haven't been missing, bro. Like, we had Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter in the middle. Finesse and the big boy.
N'Kobe Dean was at the Nolan Smith draft party.
I'm going to say Nolan Smith. We've got our boys back together now.
Like,
what the? And then we get Keeley in the second game. Fuck it. Like, who's not comfortable? And in the second note, have you noticed something about these guys with this team? Like, damn near. I mean, we did get Swift, but like, a lot of these key guys in this team are from the South. Like, you people, when like AJ Brown talk, Smitty talk, they all like all that the Southern accent and like the Southern culture, the way they dress and come in the locker room. Jalen Hurts from down there as well. Like. They just pull all these SEC Georgia guys and Bama guys. Like,
did you see what Micah Parsons was saying?
I'm down. Like,
Micah Parsons was at I think he was a part of the with Adam Lefkoe. I think he was a part of the Bleacher Report draft party.
Yeah. And he was pissed.
Was it the Nolan Smith pick?
No, it was Jalen Carter.
It was a Jalen Carter pick. He said, "I'm sick to my stomach. I'm sick to my stomach." And then AJ Brown had said shit to him. He's like, "Why don't you come over with us?"
Hey, you're saying it's nice over here.
I had a question asked to me this weekend based from the Giants and the Eagles draft. And this was an honest question. And this person had said, I mean this in zero disrespect in any way, but how does it feel that the Giants' fantastic draft
I was going to say, okay, I thought you were going
was
to be
completely outweighed
I was about to say.
by how he did with the Eagles?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it sucks. But like, as a Giants fan, I have to say that in recent years, when the Giants draft, we're happy about maybe one or two picks. So like you look by, it's like, Saquon. It was Andrew Thomas, right? You go back in years, it was maybe one or two guys from each draft that they liked. Back years ago, 2014, it was Odell Beckham. That's it, right? And now it's like I can say with confidence, I like every single pick that they did. And I like how they adjusted when they drafted because we're eyeing up those guys. Addison, Zay Flowers, Jackson, even Quentin Johnston from TCU. Those were the four guys that the Giants were looking at. And it just so happens, coincidentally, that all four guys go back to back to back to back right before the Giants pick. So what do? You got to make an adjustment. You got Deontay Banks, who's big open field hitter. Yep. That's a guy that they need. He's vertical. He's extremely athletic. I like that pick there. Even though I said to myself after, I really wanted a fucking receiver there, but like, I'll take the secondary help with Julian Love going to Seattle in free agency.
The receiver y'all got, I think he's going to be better than Kenny G year one, personally. I mean, him and Hendon Hooker couldn't do no wrong down there in Tennessee. I think he's going to be better than Kenny G. Everything they wanted from Kenny G, the day he signed that robbery of a contract, I think he will be that from day one. I will be happy being wrong with that, but I like that guy.
And Dallas said it was on Jalen's pro day. Dallas wide receiver coach. I saw this clip on like Twitter and TikTok, and he's like, that's your like specialty. And he's like, what? Like Jalen says, like, what is? And he's like, your speed. And he's like, what about my route running? And he's like, we're going to see.
Yeah.
We're going to see. So he's like, they're doubting my route running. And they just show clips of his pro day. He's just like, making these fast cuts left to right. And like, there's another coach that's standing and he's like, dude, and like, they have a mic on him. And he's like, I would hate to be a linebacker trying to cover this. So like, all like the tweets and stuff that I saw about those clips were like, when Jalen Hyatt plays the Cowboys, take his max yards and take him to score. And I'm like, okay.
Well, I mean, listen, because it's, I don't know. Don't let it, because here's the thing, like, I'm going to play devil's advocate for a second. Because this is one of those things where, like, it turns out, like, super good. Like, we got all these guys from Georgia, and we did this thing here, and it's great, and it works out. Or it could turn out being one of, like, the things they start the 30 for 30 with. Like, the Eagles are about to build a dynasty, and then they drafted everybody from Georgia, and then they fucking sucked. So don't let it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is sick. Like, right now, High Erosion can do no wrong. But I personally think that Giants draft is going to be huge for y'all years to come. Like, just foundational stuff and stuff you guys added, I think it's going to be huge. At least 2-3 of those guys for years to come would be huge for the Giants.
And just winners, as before we, I guess, transitioning into talking about some other teams, obviously seeing Gibbs get drafted from the Lions made zero sense, right? Because regardless that the Swift trade happened, Gibbs goes, you get David Montgomery as well, but you also let go of the touchdown leader in rushing touchdowns last year, Jamal Williams.
Yeah, the thing that's crazy about that too is as soon as they got Jahmyr Gibbs, like Swift was like, I want out.
I'm sure.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah, you got 4 guys.
I mean, I guess, I don't know, maybe eight. Well, Jamal Williams either get up there in age and Swift maybe injury history or something like that coming into the contract year. They're not sure. They haven't grabbed Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs is fucking disgusting.
I just think...
I think both teams are going to end up happy with that deal.
At that high of first round...
Nah, yeah, exactly.
I know all the, like, the draft analysts were saying throughout ESPN and coverage of it, they're like, we just don't see running backs go this high because they're not as expendable as other guys. I
mean, I could question the lines one more. I'm not questioning the Falcons at all with Bijan. I think Bijan's going to be incredible. I think we all think Bijan's going to be incredible. Did you see his they asked him, like, what are you going to buy with your check? And he's like, I got to pay my tithes. And he's like, I might get like a small dog. I was like, this fucking guy, like this big ass motherfucker.
But, yo,
that's the last thing I expect to hit the fucking guy. He's going to be in the league for a long time. The first thing he wants to do with his money is pay his tithes. He's going to be in this league a long time.
He's got his own mustard and like Bijan mustard. So, cause like Bijan and Dijon. So in the Falcons facility, there's a clip and they're like, when you make it to the NFL and you're in your NFL facility and your mustard's that's like you can use your mustard for your food and snacks. I like what they did there. I really like what Seattle did their first 2 rounds. Like, holy fuck. I mean, Devin Witherspoon, don't have to say much to say about that. Jackson Smith and Jigba. Derek Hall from Auburn. I thought the Derek Hall pick was huge.
Super athletic. Will honestly be able to fill in anywhere in that defense the way they run their defense. And then I think Zach Charbonnet linking up in their backfield with Walker. I think that might be dangerous. I mean, Charbonnet, I feel like Charbonnet is like a little bit of a taller version of Kenneth Walker. Like, same thing, bruiser kind of backs, like can burn you with their speed a little bit, but will just pound you all game, then break the one up the middle. But then Charbonnet is just like a little bit taller, probably a little bit harder to tackle. It's going to be a little crazy to watch out there in Seattle. I like how they drafted. Let me think of another pick. Oh my God, Addison in Minnesota. Like, okay, obviously it's going to be a great wide feeling up there in age. Yes, we know that. Okay, not as productive as it used to be. Obviously, they get number 2 to be with Justin Jefferson, but I feel like that team has so many more holes to fill besides wide receiver 2. I could be completely wrong. And maybe this is what they want to lean on. But I mean, half the reason they can't make it past a certain round in the playoffs and they lose a certain amount of games every single year is because they can't stop a wet paper towel. Why are we drafting Jordan Addison in the first round?
You have to at least understand,
Kid's gonna be great, but like holy shit.
With the Thielen exit, maybe it was just like, so who
that important? It's that important?
Yeah, it's that not. Important. But like you can at least say like, damn, maybe their front office
give up 30 points to you guys last year.
Yeah,
twice, didn't
they? And damn near in the fucking
no, we can't.
First round,
Jordan Addison. We can't be drafting Jordan Addison with our first pick if Daniel Jones is giving us a 30 clip twice. That's a problem. All right. Next pick I did like though, my guy Joey Porter Jr. going to Steelers. I think he's going to be with them for a long time and having high production for them for a very long time.
And for the family too. Guys, right?
Facts. Oh my God, facts.
Dad being there.
Holy shit. God damn. This show fucking sucks. Anyway. But that makes it. I wasn't even thinking about that angle and how good it could be for the Steelers, like what the kind of defense they run. First of all, his length, he can match up against anybody. And then we add the comfortability, the history. You fucking kidding me? Yeah, I mean, Steelers didn't miss there. Good for them.
You said that was one of their best picks of the draft.
I was very, me with Penn State, Joey Porter, how much I did say he was going to be a first round pick though on this show. Well, I did guarantee he'd be a first round pick, and he was round 2, pick 1.
Pick 1, so it was almost there. But in a lot of mock drafts that I saw with the Giants were actually from draft analysts. Some Giants guys were saying to pick him, so I was a little shocked that he did not go first round there. And then just some kind of like buzz around the NFL draft was obviously the story about Will Levis. In I guess the days leading up, Mel Kiper on ESPN, Todd McShay,
a lot of hype,
saying all these good things about Levis, but saying that some executives, I think Colin Cowherd was in on this as well. Some executives were saying that they didn't like the flashiness of him wearing his tank tops and showing his muscles. Apparently, that fucking turned NFL executives off, which made no sense to me. But
the explanation actually did make sense. Like, do I agree? Not really. But the explanation did make sense. Okay, this guy comes out here trying to show his guns off. He's kind of showcasing that he's a me guy. Look at me. do you want your quarterback to necessarily be a me guy? Let's think. And then, Colin went into, those are the cocky guys that came in the league the last few years.
Yeah,
he did his thing.
But like Anthony Richardson is doing fucking flips and cartwheels in his, and like the executives aren't getting turned off at that. He could have gotten hurt.
One of my favorite quotes, it's from my boy. It's not even like a quote from somebody. Just people are going to make whoever they want the hero. And obviously, you could tell that there were certain things that people were pinpointing about Will Levis that they didn't want to make him the hero, and certain things about Anthony Richardson they want to make him the hero. Now, right or wrong, I think Richardson will be better than Will Levis. That was just me, regardless. I think Will Levis is good though. I think he has a ton of upside. I think if he gets into the right locker room, right coach get into his ear, I think he can be fine. But I would have taken Anthony Richardson.
I was surprised that he went.
I think it was funny as fuck.
I thought the Colts were taking Levis.
Something that was weird about the draft, though, I just think it's so weird. Like, why do people? Can you read that caption?
Will Levis this is from Busted Coverage Twitter. It's a video of Will Levis and his girlfriend, and the caption of it says, "Will Levis's girlfriend looked more annoyed than he did that he hadn't been picked yet."
Can we, all right, I know it's funny. It's funny. Can we leave the people's chicks alone? You know what I mean? Like, it's so funny because it happens all the time. That doesn't happen as much.
Remember they gave CD Lamb's girl shit with the phone?
I was thinking about the CD stuff. But it wasn't, she's bad as hell, first of all. So I guess it's warranted. But damn, can we not just drag my man down because he's not getting picked? Leave his chick out.
Calm, cool, and collected, bro.
God damn.
He's just as shocked as you.
I don't think she was there when he got drafted and they were making a big deal about that.
Yeah, I think he was just off camera.
Can we leave the chick alone? I might have been off camera. I didn't send that shit to you though. Oh my God, it was so funny though because they took the video of him when he was on the phone and he was pacing. He took this weird ass step and it was Will Levis is zesty as hell. I saw that shit. It was so funny. I had to send it to you. But damn. I mean, congrats to Will Levis for getting drafted. It is awkward as hell when you think you're going to be a first round pick and you're not. And then everyone's fucking jacking on you and your chick.
I'm surprised he didn't.
Hopefully he ends up being okay.
Did you see in the video, they're in his house. And I don't know if you saw, they kind of panned to the front door and you could see all these suitcases. They literally had just walked in the fucking door that morning probably.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why did you just stay there? You honestly,
no.
You knew, bro, you were going to get picked though. And Darius Slay tweeted, it sucks for players that don't get drafted in the first day when they get there. But stay there because there's no better feeling than hearing your name called and walking across that stage. And true. I'm not I didn't get drafted. I clearly don't know what that feels like. But I have to be, as an outsider looking in, I agree with Darius Slay there. You work this hard, you get to walk across the stage.
Am I reaching if I say that adds to the me guy theory? Since it's not the day one, the first couple draft pick that he won, walk across the stage, the viral headline, picture clip, draft pick you wanted to be. Since it is day two now, draft pick, I'm just gonna go home.
It's not like they're gonna have a camera crew at your house at this point
and watch it from my house. Does that add to the me guy theory? Are they right about Will Levis? To be determined.
And for Tennessee, right now he's listed as the third quarterback. It's Tannehill, and then Malik Willis, and then Levis. But it has been stated that everyone's going to have an equal chance. So Will Levis
is there a dark horse story in our dynasty team brewing? Do we just stash Will Levis because no one's going to draft
We have
him?
Malik Willis.
We'll take the two Tennessee quarterbacks. One of them has to pan out, right?
One of them has to work out. Let's talk about another cool story about father-son. Chris Vaughn and the Cowboys were able to draft Deuce Vaughn, his son, to the Cowboys, and seeing the clips in the draft room of Jerry Jones handing over the paper and saying, make the call. Pretty cool. But just cool to see. I think I never knew that. I did not know Chris Vaughn was Deuce Vaughn's dad.
Found out that day.
I never really thought, we would be seeing these really special moments, especially with Joey Porter and Joey Porter Jr. and Joey Porter.
Facts, that too. I think that's a smash pick as well. Yep. Obviously with the Zeke news and all that, Tony Pollard's obviously going to be that guy. But Deuce Vaughn is going to literally, right? Yes, and Deuce Vaughn's going to literally be what Tony Pollard was for the first couple of years. So I think that was a smash pick for them. That's dope. And then the Joey Porter stuff too. That's crazy. I mean, shout out to the league. We had a damn good week in sports. We had the draft, the NHL Game 7s, good NBA series, Game 7s. We had a damn good week in sports.
One last thing before we move over to MLB and then head to NBA.
We had a fight this weekend, Aljo, right?
That's facts.
And Triple C.
One of the picks that I liked that I feel like I'm going to get so much hate for saying this is, hear me out. I like the Stetson Bennett pick to the Rams. I'll tell you why. First of all, this guy was projected to be rounds 5 through 7, and then after the national championship game, he went up to like 4 through 6 maybe. But then when he got arrested, there was reports that he might not even get picked. So what does Booker with Trent do? Let's bet him not to get drafted at plus 100. And then the Rams fuck you, and they draft him in round 4. Here's where I like the pick though: Stetson Bennett, Georgia guy. Matt Stafford, older Georgia guy. Get a little bit of veteran help, being Georgia and Georgia as well. Maybe 2 to 3 years down the line, Stetson Bennett will be closer to 27, 28, 29 by then. But then maybe he takes
listen to what you just said.
I know it's crazy. But I still like I like the fact that he can learn behind Stafford as a Georgia guy. And look,
100%,
is Stafford out of the league in 2 years?
100%.
We don't know, but he could be.
100%.
Now again, you would be 27.
100%.
And Jalen, and if you look at the outside picture, the bigger picture, Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson just signed for 2 of the biggest contracts in NFL history, and they're the same age as you. So yes, that does fucking suck. Little concerning. But
you do got 2 national championships though. 2 things those guys don't have.
At least he got some NIL stuff.
Wait, does Jalen have 2 or does he have 1? No, he only have 1. He only got one.
So all I'm saying is, I think it's a good pick there just for the Georgia stuff and having a veteran quarterback to help him lead the way. But I thought it was kind of funny. I didn't think. And then Max Duggan.
Yep.
To the Chargers.
Yep.
We'll never understand it. We'll never understand it because Justin Herbert will never understand
it. He could just be a just great backup.
But then, it was cool? I saw this stat. Both Max and Stetson played their final college game at SoFi.
Wow.
And now they're both going to go
play their first. Not their first,
just
but
be in the same stadium together.
That's
because they share that SoFi. So that was pretty cool as well.
Could you imagine if they both become starters and that's like a rivalry now? Like, let's say Herbert, the Chargers don't want to pay him, like Duggan's showing something, like they start him, like Stafford just hangs it up, fucks his shoulder up, like then that's like the rivalry. Sports is weird, man. Sports
is weird. Last thing before we move to the MLB, Aaron Rodgers, obviously,
facts,
heading to the Jets. And what was cool, he went to Game 6 for the Rangers Saturday night at MSG. Sang the song with Breece Hall and Alan Lazard, and then the very next day goes to Game 1 of the Heat and Knicks series at MSG again, and goes with Alan Lazard again. So pretty cool stuff.
Jets fans were not happy about their draft at all.
Yeah,
I mean, kind of want to protect the guy he brought into town. Didn't protect the guy he brought into town. We'll see what they do though.
Hey,
we'll see what they do.
Again, I gotta fucking move on, but I have to ask you this one. Did you like the Will Anderson pick after CJ Stroud? I was seeing a bunch of stuff, people saying like, I'm not high on Will Anderson. I didn't like the pick. And I was like, I like how they got Stroud and then still got the guy that everyone was projected they were going to get in the first place.
Nah, totally cool with me. I think Will Anderson's going to be a beast as well. I'm high on Will Anderson. Some people are like, whatever. People think he should have came out last year. Whatever. Will Anderson's Will Anderson. I think that was a smash pick regardless. We'll talk about that in a couple years.
Right. Shit. And the very cool thing, obviously, with Bryce and CJ, growing up together playing and then being 1 and 2 was pretty cool as well. So, all right, let's get over to the MLB. The Yankees hold sole possession of last place.
Was that a podcast flashback? Did we say Bryce number 1 on here too?
We might have said Bryce.
I was about to look at a couple episodes.
I bet it, but Yankees in the MLB, in the AL East, they hold sole possession of last place, 8.5 games behind first place of those Tampa Bay Rays. And again, you can make all the excuses in the world. It's a high school lineup. Stanton's out. Judge is out, Donaldson's out, Bader's out, who's now coming back today. You get Rodon in the offseason. He hasn't pitched yet. Severino hasn't pitched yet. You get Frankie Montas last year at the trade deadline. He's most likely out for the rest of the year. Lou Trevino, who they got in that same trade, he's gone.
Damn, didn't he just hit like a 500-foot home run the other day?
That was Trevino, but I'm talking about Lou Trevino.
My fault. No. Okay. I was gonna be like, what? I was like, what
Lou
the
Trevino,
fuck?
I
was about to say.
He's a relief
I actually would have been
pitcher.
so sick.
Tommy Kahnle, who they get in the offseason, who comes back to the Yankees, he's on a 60-day IL. I mean,
wait, that's the reliever. That's nasty.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They got nobody.
God damn.
And again, you can say all you want about Aaron Boone's got to be able to get these guys wins, but it's. I feel for him in the way that it's tough to field lineups when everybody and all of your really good players are out. You got to put Hicks out there every day. You got to put Isaiah kind of for left out there every day. It's tough. You got to play a lot of AAA guys every single day with this. So I do understand it.
Okay, but who's signing all these guys that are just getting injured? Why don't we just point the finger at that guy? How many GMs in the league are in the 25th year of their tenure now? I mean, was it 25 years he's been around? Longer than that?
This is.
I mean, goddamn.
And this is personally, I thought that Cashman was going to be out after this year. I also thought Boone was going to be done after this year. So was surprised to see once Cashman was staying, his guy is Aaron Boone, so he's not getting rid of him. I do think it's time for panic within the front office. It's not time for panic yet on the field because once these guys come back, they'll settle back in. But last night's loss, I do want to touch on that. Domingo Germán, who's been struggling early on in this season, he went 8 1/3. There was a runner on first with 1 out in the 8th inning. Clay Holmes comes in, who's supposed to be their fucking big boy closer. Bases get juiced, and then Wandy Peralta comes in, and he ends up walking in the game. What's that? The game leading run or the go ahead run, and 3-2. They end up winning after leading 2-0 for the entire game. A disgusting loss. I mean, we might get through this 162 game season and come back to this game and say that game still was the worst loss of the season.
Aaron Judge on the injury report.
Aaron Judge got a hip problem. Stanton with a hamstring. I mean, this team. I said it last year and I said it the year before.
Is the young bull he's healthy? Cabrera, is he cool?
No one. Yeah, but he's just his OPS is under 500. Fucking these guys suck.
Is he healthy?
The funniest part about it is I said last year and the year before, nobody can hurt this team but themselves. Literally, and they hurt themselves.
I mean, quite literally. Like,
it's very disappointing because you have a team at the Rangers. Highs of highs. Team of the Yankees coming into this season. Highs of highs. Everybody gets hurt. The Rangers get bounced in the first round. New York is in shambles. And if the Knicks lose tonight...
The Knicks. Stephen A. is a Knicks fan now.
Oh, my God. Give me a fucking break with that guy. Dude literally said in February that if the Heat or the Knicks were in the playoffs making a run, who would he root for? And he said, I would root for the Heat. It's a fake fan. Get out of here. Nobody wants to... Knicks fans don't claim you. And sure, this team sure doesn't as well. And now, in some bigger news, we want to look at some record-wise within the Yankees and Phillies.
First of all, how about the Pittsburgh Pirates playing some good ball?
Yeah.
Power rankings up. That's on my mind. Shout out to them.
Yeah, that's also huge. I didn't expect that.
Not at all.
I don't think it lasts, but
I keep seeing Rich Hill on the bump, and I bet against them, and they win with Rich Hill on the mound. So hey,
yeah.
Fuck me, I guess.
Record-wise, Phillies get fucking the cutest dog in the world, Major, and
we're back to 15-15.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, that guy's back. All right, he's back tonight as of Tuesday. Bryce Harper's back. I mean, everyone relax. I even watching and listening back to the podcast we did before. I was even overreacting like a motherfucker about the.
But I think everybody was.
Everyone was though. It was a little uneasy at that first. We expected a little bit more. But I think now, you even just looked like the game last night. Taijuan Walker is letting up 8 earned runs. That guy is not going to be pitching in Ranger Suarez's spot much longer. I myself included, got to take a deep breath and just look at the positive signs. Nick Castellanos is playing good baseball to start the year for once. Brandon Marsh, batting .337, I believe. 4 home runs, being Brandon Marsh, just a beast in the field, beast on the plate. Sucks that Pache it sucks he has to play every day now at the expense of Pache because I was asking for him to play every day. And Pache looked good as well. I think he was hitting 360, had a couple home runs before he went down with a torn meniscus, I believe it was, which actually really fucking sucks. But I think this team's going to be just fine. This stretch we're in right now is brutal. Got a big series win versus the Mariners, got a huge series win versus the Astros, pounded by the Dodgers. It's the Dodgers, it is what it is. If we drop this series versus the Dodgers, I'm not tweaking too much because that series next versus the Red Sox, which is at home, I believe, massive. I think the biggest series in this stretch was the Astros series, to be honest, for everyone just to see what was going on with the Phillies, especially for how we were playing. We just started getting hot. Is this legit? Is this not legit? I think the bullpen came out. The bullpen, the Mariners series and the Astros series, thoroughly impressed by them. And then the Astros series, you get a masterclass from Aaron Nola, who has been posting, I think he had a 5 ERA before that. And I think he had let up 1 earned run. I think it was 7 innings, just a masterclass. And Zach Wheeler comes out and does the same thing. So we're tweaking about the starting pitchers, how I was saying, overreacting. Guys have 5 ERAs, no spring training. Why the fuck do we keep doing this? They show us why we're all right. Get back to 500. Bryce Harper comes back. Ranger will be back soon. I think this team is just fine, actually.
I think this needs to be stated that everybody should at least try to understand, because I think there's people out there that don't actually understand how crazy this is. Fastest comeback following Tommy John surgery in MLB history at 160 days.
What was his time? What was his timeline before? It was
July.
July. I was about to say.
It was July. We're in May 2nd.
I was about to say. Thank you.
Okay. I think people that don't understand that, like, that's your indicator right there.
Insane.
We're supposed to be July, and he's back in May. And again, we talk about this. That's normally a pitcher's injury. We saw Jacob deGrom might be dealing with that. We'll see that in the coming days and weeks to come with that. But it's normally a pitcher's injury. You look at that, the Phillies off to a bad start. We're not going to see Bryce Harper until July. We got 2 more months without him.
Very true.
Come back in May 2nd, following towards the end of this week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, series against the Boston Red Sox, and I guarantee you all 3 of those games are going to be sellouts because their hero in the 2023 MLB playoffs and the postseason is coming back.
Damn, did I time that right? With the as of today, with the podcast upload? I'm interested to see. You didn't peep that, did you? But I was like, as of today, that guy is back. Because I was trying to time it up without. Yeah. I'm interested to see.
I see.
But I think the Phillies going to be cool, though. I'm honestly cool with how we're sitting. Like I said, the last episode, highlighting that top 4 of the bullpen, they're still hooping. I think the Phillies will be just fine.
Phillies are going to be just fine. I think, obviously, it's too early to be overreacting, but we got
it out the system. Got it out the system. You know what I mean?
Alerts and sirens are allowed to go off.
Shout out Bryson Stott, too. I don't think he's got his shout out in this podcast yet. He's hooping right now.
Yeah, well, we did, because I said, aren't they calling him Bryce Him Stott?
Facts, yeah,
so,
facts.
So, batting leadoff, and remember, a weekend, I saw some statistics after the game I went to last Tuesday, and it was saying, this time last year, he was bumped down to AAA.
Yeah.
This time this year, he solidified a spot because he's got, X amount of stolen bases and doubles, and he had, a 15-game hitting streak to start the season. So
just imagine this team with Bryce Harper playing at an all-star level, with Rhys Hoskins back playing at the level we know he can, with Ranger pitching at an all-star level. I mean, on top of the depth we already have, we could mix and match with.
Well, think about when you can
Mundo Sosa, Josh Harrison, like just be able to mix and match the depth this team has. It's
Bryce Harper back in the field.
That's what I'm saying.
And then you have a whole nother play for DH.
Exactly.
So, because we haven't seen that obviously in months.
We have 3-4 guys at the bench that, like, position players that we like, that we're fine. I mean, even 5. I mean, Pache back off injury, Garrett Stubbs backup catcher, Cave, Harrison, Edmundo. Like, I love what the Phillies.
Trey, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
I can't mention that. I mean, can't not mention that.
No.
All right, over to the NBA playoffs. Let's start with Game 7. I want to start right there with the Warriors and the Kings. I said it at the very beginning of the show, but I really sincerely feel bad for you if you decided to bet against Steph Curry in a Game 7. Manny Ruffin did state on this podcast from last week, when the Warriors, mind you, not when they was tied, when the Warriors were down 2-0.
Absolutely.
He said, Steph Curry with fuel is like a bodybuilder on steroids. Give me them to win Game 3. Give me them to win Game 4. And then I'll take the series bet as well. And clearly, that's what happened. Don't bet against Steph Curry.
Ever. I've learned trying to back my guy LeBron for the longest time, but I'm gonna have to back.
What a fucking performance! And I
Insanity.
saw the one clip.
Can you just read that quote now? To be honest, to set the stage for Steph Curry. Like, God damn, what is wrong with him?
Yeah. Okay. So to set the stage is right here. Just tweeters. Harden's performance last night. Again, we are recording here on a Tuesday. Harden's performance last night was better than Curry's 50-point Game 7 performance. Yes or no?
Bruh, that's just blasphemy. You know what I mean? That's blasphemy, disrespect.
Tell him you're a Sixers fan too.
Yeah, I mean, it's all good. I'm gonna talk about Harden's masterclass in a second, but I should have actually researched how many times someone scored 50 points in the Game 7, and how many times someone scored 40 points in the game that was the Game 7.
In a Game 1?
Not even a Game 1, just a game that wasn't a Game 7. I mean, Game 7s are Game 7s. There's just no shot in hell there. That has to be a meme. There were just people in the replies that were taking that shit actually serious, and they were saying that just don't mind it. Don't mind it. Steph Curry, that was not, you know what I mean? Let's not get it twisted. You know what I mean?
But still, unbelievable performance.
Unbelievable.
Hey, and we have to do it. Yo, since we're doing all this clapping bullshit in this show, let's do it one more time. Sacramento Kings. Fantastic season.
Facts.
Well-deserved. Fans well-deserved for their performance.
Sabonis shake people's hands, bro.
Yeah.
after you lose. By the way, you want
Draymond Green was at your head about that. He said, take it like a man. Remember what he said when they lost to the Cavs, and they blew lead. He said, I went to the locker room. This was on his podcast the next day. Went to the locker room, and I sat down for a second. I said, this doesn't feel right. And I ran back out, and then you can see I literally go through everyone on the team. And there's actually a clip. He goes right up to Bron. Bron's like, well, basically he's about to do an interview about to fucking hoist the trophy. And Draymond's right there. So respect it, 100%. I mean, I get the feeling. I was a fucking Rangers fan last night, and I said, fuck them. Go to the locker room. Done. I'm done. But I understand it. All right, let's go. Let's talk through this Celtics game last night. I actually had Harden for 30 points, and what did I have? I think I had 3 threes with there, and then I had Maxey.
It's good to know that you're not brain dead, because there was actually, I mean, I don't know if you saw the viral ESPN clip of Monica McNutt and my man literally like clowning the possibility that Max Kellerman was saying that James Harden was going to have a good game and have to go off for the Sixers to win. Clowning at that. There's people on Twitter taking James Harden under points.
I mean,
like there was a lot of James Harden disrespect going on.
I think that
pre-game yesterday.
That was easy. Joel Embiid is not playing.
He's only averaged about, I think James Harden's averaged 26 or 27 per 75 possessions when Embiid's out, and he's averaged 18 per 75 with him being in the lineup. Just if you've paid attention at all to the Sixers when Embiid doesn't play, James Harden's damn near an auto bet in some capacity. There was a lot of disrespect going on before the game yesterday.
Well, speaking of disrespect, fucking Dave Portnoy had 6K on the Celtics to sweep the Sixers. So that's
I saw him tweet that.
Gone. And then the funniest thing he tweeted again. He's like, I want the series to be fair. Like, this was at 6:00 before the game started. He's like, I want the series to be fair. Like, I'm
gonna be honest.
I want Embiid to be in. And then you fucking lost game 1.
I mean, no one thought it was gonna be a sweep for real. But I did going into this series. I mean, not even going into the series. Boston's up 3 or 2-0, I believe it was, to Atlanta. Our series wrapping up to Brooklyn. I'm like, yeah, these guys are about to get us out of here. Probably another 6. I mean, 6 or 7, but to get us out of here. Trey pushes under the brink, and if you pay attention, they can put two and two together. The games that the Hawks won and Trey went ballistic and was doing his thing, the Boston's are staying true to this switch, drop coverage bullshit. Now, as you can watch the game 1 from our game, how Harden was going off, a ton of 3 switch, drop coverage bullshit. So all I'm saying is Trae Young gave me a little bit of life. I'm not going to sit here and say the Sixers going to win, but it's hard to say that we're not going to after James Harden drops 50 points in TD game 1. And I got Jaylen Brown saying, what do you say? Can you go back to that? They had a great game. We had a mediocre game. Now, if you paid attention to that game, I think the Celtics might have missed 10 shots in the first half. Like, I need a first half score. I'm pretty sure the Celtics were up like 66-63 at half or something. I mean, how mediocre can you play if you score 66 points in half? Now, mediocre defensively for sure. The Sixers are abysmal defensively without Joel Embiid. It's so obvious. I mean, and the Celtics are much better. But let them chatter. Your PJ Tucker stuff.
Yeah, I do want to say this stat here. This is ESPN stats and info. PJ Tucker had 0 field goal attempts and 0 free throw attempts tonight. Meaning last night, in 37 minutes played. That is the most minutes played without a field goal attempt or free throw attempt in a playoff game in the shot clock era, which is since the 1954 and 55 season.
I love it. I love it.
Oh my God.
I love it. He's doing his role. And no, PJ Tucker, me and PJ Tucker have like a very much love-hate relationship. Like, he gets on my goddamn fucking nerves a lot. But
you were an advocate. Remember last year? You were an advocate when he got there? 100%. Everyone said you're a fucking moron.
I still am like on the side of like, we want PJ Tucker, but he just gets on my nerves a shit ton. Like a shit ton. But for this, what you segued into, him being on the bench last night and getting into Paul Reed, obviously all the Sixers fans probably have seen it, but there was a clip last night of Paul Reed PJ Tucker looking at Paul Reed basically saying, what the fuck are you doing? Get your head out of your ass. Because there was a possession where Al Horford got like 2 or 3 offensive rebounds, and it was like, yeah, Paul, whatever. There was a little miscommunication there about who wanted to be the low man and we're not. And Paul Reed said in the interview, he was like, I'm 6'9", 6'10". Like, PJ Tucker's like 6'6", 6'7". Like, I want to be the low man. There was confusion there. But I like how, if you can see the difference between like maybe when a guy like Ben Simmons was on this team, you know what I mean, and the team now, where you need that kind of discourse on a basketball team, whether it's the coach or the players or a veteran or a group of guys, like you need someone who's going to be able to hold guys accountable like that in a game. And if players are going to wilt a la Ben Simmons and start doing bitch shit, you're going to go home in the second round every year. Now, what's giving me hope is that PJ Tucker can do something like that to Paul Reed, and Paul Reed can end the game with 13 rebounds, 6 offensive rebounds to give us huge minutes in the game that we need him the most. You know what I mean?
Right.
Huge signs from the Sixers. What the fuck? Third quarter. Two names I want to say. First of all, Melton, holy shit. His shift in the first quarter and the second quarter literally kept us in reach, which kept us in the game. And then the third quarter shift that Tyrese Maxey put in, I think he scored, I want to say, oh my God, I don't want to be wrong, but I want to say he scored like 12 or 14 in the third quarter, along with hurting his knee. When I saw my life flash before my eyes, when I saw him go down and hold his knee, I think he still put up like a 12-point third quarter. Besides Harden scoring 50, Paul Reed's 13 rebounds, Melton's first and second quarter shift, and Tyrese Maxey's third quarter shift literally won us the game and can't be spoken about enough. Go fucking Sixers and 7, baby. You already know.
Yeah, because I was going to say, my joke was that I was fucking with Philly fans and saying like Celtics in 4. That's not what I actually thought. Right. I thought the series was going to go to 6. And that the Celtics would win, but now this changes it. I truly think that the Sixers and the Celtics are going to split both in their respective cities, and that we're going to Game 5, 2-2.
Yeah, and we're going to Game 7.
And we're going to go Game 7.
3-3.
That's what I think.
I believe the same. I think getting this game with it's just it gives us, because thing about series is though, like even if let's say the Celtics took game 1, right, and let's say we force Joel Embiid to play game 2 with this LCL stuff going on, and we do split, but let's say Joel Embiid tweaks his knee or some shit. Like getting the game 1 without Embiid so big because we can just rest Embiid no problem. Come home as close to 100% as you can. I mean, we've seen Joel Embiid play with the face mask and an orbital fracture in his face. We've seen him play with torn meniscus in the playoffs. I'm sure this isn't much different. I'm sure this is just precautionary, and then him be able to come home and just mentally be able to like, all right, I can just take a break till I get to Philly is huge for the series. So
yeah, because it doesn't matter win or lose, you're still tied, and you get two at home in this crowd. And now over to this Heat and Knicks series. Really tough loss in game 1 when you're in control. But I will say this, though.
Can we, before you be sad, can we clap it up for you? Did we clap it up for y'all for winning the series?
No, we didn't.
God damn.
They won a series.
God damn. You know what I'm saying? Quit making it sad. You know what I mean?
They won a series.
Stephen A's a Knicks fan now. The Knicks are winning playoff
Fucking
series.
break.
Jalen Brunson's
insane. What I will say about, and I like how he's holding himself accountable. 0 for 7, said he was horrific in game 1. Yep. He can't have 5 turnovers. This goes back to what game 2 was in Cleveland when they lost by like almost 30 points. They didn't play bad in that game, and I said this. They just couldn't hit a shot. Once again, in the second half of game 1, they weren't playing bad. They just were not fucking hitting a shot. Like in the first half, they have damn near 25 points in the paint. In the second, we got fucking 5 minutes to go in the fourth, and we have 2 points in the paint. No one's hitting a 3, and then you're playing defensive the entire
Obi's taking
game.
A lot of them.
I mean, and Obi had 11 threes. Guys, I know Julius Randle wasn't playing, but Obi topping. But you know what? I read like a fucking T.
He played well, though.
I had him for 15 and 3 points.
Okay.
Read him like a T because fucking
he put in
Julius
good
Randle's out.
He did put in good shifts. Also, I love the shifts that you're getting from Josh Hart. Yes. Like, you can see, like, he kind of, because Julius Randle, like, it's so funny because I'm sitting there watching the game and it's like, second half when Strus starts hitting threes and Kyle Lowry starts going off. And I'm like, what are the Knicks missing without Julius Randle? And it's like, legitimately everything. Rebounding, defense, passing, scoring, like the whole 9. But Josh Hart, I mean, just maybe because I'm a Nova guy, but he literally tries to fill that role in like a way more miniature size, and I love to watch it.
Well, what I would say about the Knicks in game 1 is like they were basically in the game until like the last 3 to 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Yep. So if they're in that game for that long and they're missing terrible open looks and Julius Randle's not there, then I have to feel pretty confident that if they can just play two halves of basketball in the identical same way and not completely fold in the second or the first and vice versa, and you get Julius back, I have to feel pretty confident. And I said that almost something very similar in the Cavs series. And I said when Donovan Mitchell dropped 38 or 36 in the game 1 loss, I said if Mitchell has to score 40 just to be in contention, the Knicks are going to win this series. And the same thing here. If the Knicks can play identical basketball with or without Julius Randle in 2 halves, they're going to win this fucking series. And then it's either going to be Sixers and Celtics. And my fucking
big
future bet's gone now, so I'm fucking pissed off about that.
What future bet?
I had Rangers to win the Eastern Conference, Knicks to win the Eastern Conference, like 50 for 4,500 or 4,800. It was just a donation, but like wanted to try it.
The Jimmy Butler ankle injury with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Like, there's some... Listen, I still think the NBA playoffs are incredible, but hypotheticals, how much more incredible would they be without injuries?
Well,
I mean, Julius Randle gets hurt.
Yeah,
what was it?
Terrible. It was late in the game.
Late in the game. I mean, we know the Knicks were moving on that point of the run. It was in the middle of the run, I believe.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'd say?
Jimmy Butler.
Why'd they let him play?
Joel Embiid.
Why'd they keep him in? There was still 5 minutes to go in the game. He's just hobbling around. He's limping. Well, take him out. You guys are up 10. You guys are literally up 10.
That's a gigantic game. Yeah, I know what you mean. But Jimmy Butler, first of all, Jimmy Butler does not want to come out of that game, and that's a gigantic game. I mean, they talked to Max Strus and Kyle Lowry at the game, and like Tyler Hero, and they were saying like we don't know if Jimmy's going to sit out. That motherfucker play do anything.
Let's also quickly take note here
that story was crazy.
Some of these stories here. Steph Curry pulling the team aside, saying we want to, have a little meeting, pumps up the team, fires up the team. Who was it? Was it Wiggins that said, it gave me chills and he's the GOAT?
Yeah, well, the good thing about context about that story is like that's got to remember the clips going around with Jordan Poole pushing off Draymond's hands, like all frustrated. First of all, everyone, and me included, just saw Jordan Poole for the 2 games before that getting in pretty much only cardio, like not
and
playing
losing Game 6 at home, like
exactly,
that was terrible.
Like that. So that video goes out. Kuminga's not getting a lot of minutes. Obviously, there's probably more guys that aren't getting minutes that they thought they wanted because they're in a shitty situation against Sacramento that they didn't think they had to be in this early. And like just Steph Curry, kind of like just one of these stories because you look at Steph, you think he's kind of like a quiet guy, like. You see Steph talk shit, you're like, damn, Steph talking shit. Like, stories come out of like Steph Curry in the locker room firing guys up. Like, I think it takes people by surprise, but I mean, there's no way this team, this franchise is this good for this long if this guy isn't doing that consistently. Like, he's probably been doing that since 2015. And it just goes to show when the chips are down, time and time again, KD or no KD, I mean, Steph Curry has answered the bill like, I mean, more than he's had to. I mean, as a leader, as a player, even in Game 7, I think he had like 6 or 7 rebounds, but there was one play specifically. He went up over, I think Kevin Huerter for offensive rebounds, spun off him, laid somebody. I'm like, this guy is literally doing it all. I mean, shout out to Steph. I can only do so much eating for Steph because we might have to see him in the finals. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, now we're talking about a guy that we get to now see a Steph Curry, LeBron James series.
Yeah. And this is probably the most even that series, even the teams have been for that series. No, it's not even by far the most even those teams have been for that series. So I'm actually interested to see. I think I got the Lakers though. Me personally, there's no way history will repeat itself, and your habits are your habits. And we saw with the worst road team in basketball, or not the worst road team. Were they the worst road team in basketball? God damn, I think they might have been. Whatever. Losing 2 at Sacramento. And then I was nervous because obviously Game 7's in Sacramento. They had to get that one. Now they have home court versus the Lakers, so it's not going to be the same scenario. But if you cannot win games on the road at all, it's going to be hard for me to pick you time and time again in this series. Thank God you have home court for this one, but history repeats itself. And your habits are important. And that's a bad habit to have, I think, in playoff basketball.
Especially in the NBA playoffs. What a fucking banger show. NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs. Plenty of shit on the MLB because the Yankees fucking suck. If you have been watching or listening on YouTube or Apple Podcasts and Spotify, drop a like on YouTube, a comment, and do not forget to hit that subscribe button on our Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Drop those ratings. They do help us go a long, long way. And our social media platforms, if you want to give us a follow there, our Twitter is ADED Podcast. Our Instagram is ADED Pod. And our TikTok, which we have been going live pretty frequently on for these playoffs, is simply the name of the show, The All Day Everyday Show. You've been listening and watching to The All Day Everyday Show with All Day AJ and the homie Manny Ruffin. My name is Alex Jacobs, but you can call me All Day AJ. We will see you on the next one. Enjoy this second round of the NHL and NBA playoffs.